Hi, my name is Citlali and I'm going to talk about queer joy.
Hello, my name is Oliver and I'm a trans guy who make videos about LGBTQIA+ people where they get to talk about anything that they want that somehow relates to them being queer. I'm currently traveling around Europe by train, and in Marseille, France, I met up with Citlali on their magical balcony.
My name is Citlali and I'm a queer artist. I'm 27 this year and I'm from Paris, but I moved to Marseille less than a week ago. I don't think I've ever understood the gender binary or my sexuality. So I guess I use the word queer because I'm very lost.
I always let the person I interview come up with a subject, and this is how Citlali chose one.
I really struggled to find a subject because I didn't want to talk about something that has been talked about many times. And I think the subject that we don't talk about enough, because maybe we don't have enough of it, is queer joy.
So they're going to share a few stories from their life about queer joy.
I was watching, I don't know if you know the show Heartstopper, and I was watching it, and it's a show that has like issues, like any show, but it brought me so much joy to watch it and to see like teenagers having a normal love story that I got kind of like, not jealous, but I was like very nostalgic of something that I'm not sure I'm gonna experience. I mean, no, I'm pretty sure I won't experience because my teenage years were not like that. But it still brought me a lot of joy to see it and to see that, for example, my little cousin who's 14 is able to experience things like that now, and that she knows so much about queer people and trans people and like she has so much knowledge that I didn't have, and she has so much shows like Heartstopper that she can look at and feel validated in her experience.
And TV also helped them figure out that they were queer back in the day.
I think I had crushes on both like girls and boys like since I was 6. And one day I was 13 and I was watching Dr. House. And there is an episode, I don't know if you've watched it, there is an episode where Dr. House teases one of the characters in the show because she's bisexual. And he's like, oh, but you're like going out with men, but then there you have a girlfriend and blah, blah, blah. And so there is a whole episode with her explaining to him what bisexuality is and why he shouldn't be laughing. And then you see her with her girlfriend and how happy she is. And I remember like specifically watching that episode and having like the realization of my life where I was like, okay, there is a name for this and this is me, and I identify with it, and it's normal and it's on TV, and it brought me so much joy that the next morning I told my best friend, and it's kind of corny, but we went to like a kind of like a field area and we started running, and I was like, I'm bisexual, and she was behind me, like the greatest ally ever. She was behind me and she was running and she was like, she's bisexual, and we were like, eh. And this is like such a core memory for me because I was like, yes, identity. It sounds really corny, but like representation is so important, and it was such an important moment for me.
Another memory of queer joy happened more recently.
Recently, just before moving to Marseille, I went to my ex's wedding. Basically, it's not a wedding, it's called a Pax in France, and it's more of an administrative term. I think it was created for a gay couple to marry without giving them the right to marry. But now it is very popular for straight people and queer people because it's easier than getting married, and you still have administrative liberties that you wouldn't have if you were single. And so she did that. She got married and I was invited, and it also brought me a lot of joy because it was basically, I think the only straight people that were in that wedding were my parents and her parents and some other exes' parents, because she invited a lot of like the exes. We were 5 exes and all of the parents of the exes. I don't know. We had balloons that said like straight but gay because he's trans, and then we had like cakes, like just gay packs or like stupid shit like that. And it was basically just a lot of queer joy of queer people gathering and like celebrating each other, and her parents also being super supportive, and his family that is from Chile took a plane and they all came just for the wedding. So I felt really validated in my identity, and I think she felt it too. And overall, I think I have, right now, it's a period in my life at 27 where I have queer people around me doing really traditional, corny stuff like getting married and starting families. And I didn't think it would be possible, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, gay marriage was legalized in France in 2014. So I didn't grow up with the idea that it could happen to me. And I don't think I believe in like the sanctity of marriage, but it's still really nice to know that it's a possibility. I haven't been to any straight wedding so far, so I feel like it's a big win. And the next weddings I'm gonna go to are not straight either, so I feel like that's a win.
Being queer has helped Citlali feel free.
So basically there's a lot of hardships in being queer, and a lot of rejection from everyone, but growing up and finding your community and finding like-minded people and starting consuming the art that is done, and like reading books about like queer people by queer people, and like drawing queer art because that's what I'm doing. All of that gives me a lot of pride, a lot of joy, and right now I realize how free I am, because I had no choice but to find that freedom. I don't know how to explain, but I realized really early that I didn't fit in the really like straight cis world, and so being rejected from the norm means that then it's easier to get away from it more and more. And so being able to love outside of the binary of gender, I don't give a fuck. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Or like getting away from gender stereotypes, stuff like that. I realize now that it's an incredible gift. And when I talk to my straight friends, especially straight women, I feel so sad for them and for the experience they have of life, and all the limits, all the barriers they have regarding themselves, how they should act, the men in their lives. Like, it's terrible. And we try to have conversations. I try to like guide them a little bit, but it's really hard. And a lot of them now are really aware of their situation, and they're really sad about it. And to a point where we stopped talking about the subjects, because they're like, I'm kind of stuck in this, and I don't like it, but I'm kind of stuck. And so I realized the privilege I have of getting away from the norm, and the freedom I've gained from that. Especially because right now, like, most of my friends are queer. This is a queer apartment. Pretty much all the art I consume is queer. Like, it's a bit obsessive, but it's so nice.
To sum up, why is it so important to feel, experience, and share queer joy?
So I think queer joy is really important to us as a community, because we need to feel like things are moving forward, that, yeah, we're getting more rights, that things are going in the right direction, that we're recognized as equals. And also I think we owe to the queer people before us to move forward and to experience as much joy as we can, because a lot of them didn't have the chance.
If you enjoyed watching that video, please like, comment, subscribe and share the video. I really appreciate you showing your love in that way. If you also want to support the channel financially, that's possible via Patreon, but really no pressure. See you next time.